my name's James. I'm the CEO of Charlie Oscar, and we are the proud sponsors of the stage for the next couple of days. And today's panel discussion coincides with us releasing a report on the industry, where we've spoken to lots of experts across different parts of creator marketing, 4 of which we've got on the panel today. And the key theme that comes out in the report is that the industry needs an intervention. It feels like I'll summarize it actually, the influencer kool-aid isn't hitting like it used to. The same references are recycled, the same formulas are rewarded, and the same ideas applauded. The echo chamber is becoming the strategy. So today's session is an opportunity to hear from the experts who are going to give us all clarity, and they're going to help us find our nerve to make creator marketing better. So with that, I'm going to do quick intros. I'll start with Emily, who probably doesn't need a huge intro unless you've been hiding under a rock for the last year or so, but Emily's one of the fastest growing creators, a co-founder of Epitome, best-selling author and nutritionist. We have Olivia Mitchell-Bent, head of events and social at Drip Water, founded in 2023 by chef and musician Big Zoo. We then have Misha Metcalfe, brand director of Itsu, who's leading on all things brand marketing and with a really deep focus on creators. And finally, our very own Sasha Jeppesen, head of creators at your favorite influencer marketing agency, Charlie Oscar. Okay, question number 1. Emily, I'm going to start with you. In the report, you said, I'll quote you, you argued that brands are asking the wrong question. So instead of asking, what did I put in and what did I get back, they're obsessing over last click rather than the relationship that come before it. So I interpreted that as you're saying most brands are too transactional with creator marketing, is that right?
So I think there's this idea that you will find a big influencer or a big creator, you'll say, okay, this person's going to be perfect for this brief and this job. You'll give them that one singular job, you'll pay them a lot of money, and then you turn around and you think, oh wow, we didn't get the return on that. And this idea that what you put in is what you're going to get out, I think is where a lot of people are going wrong with their relationships with influence and with creators. We are almost becoming immune and numb to the amount of ads and partnerships that we see. So the biggest thing that we like to do now as a founder of a brand who works with influencers and creators is create those long-term relationships. And me and my team as well, when it comes to the brands that I work with, we're talking about 6, 12, 2-year-long contracts to build that storytelling piece. Because it's not just about creating the ad and creating that kind of one-off transaction. It's about building that relationship. And when the influencer and the creator builds that relationship with the brand, you then build the relationship with the consumer, so the person who's watching you. They become part of that journey and part of that storytelling piece. And that is where I think true outcome lies for those collaborations.
I think one of the reasons that the industry has done exactly what you said, gone right, well, what was the immediate return on investment from this activation, is because it's easier to measure that than measure the long-term relationship. How do you think about measuring how successful a relationship is with an influencer or a creator? Like what are the signals that things are going well in that long-term relationship?
Well, I mean, you obviously can't deny the metrics of conversion. But I think it's a synergy between knowing that you're in it for the long run, allowing the creator to be able to share their information and their relationship with the product or the brand organically in their way, and understanding that not every single campaign and brief is going to get the most link clicks and the most conversions and the most growth. But as long as you're seeing this kind of growth trajectory, then I think that's a good sign. Obviously, if you're going to work with someone who's just going to go whoop, then maybe it's not right.
That makes sense. And so you've been building your own IP. You've got Epitome. You've done a number of things outside of the traditional way, I guess, an influencer would commercialize their audience. What advice would you give to brands that are working with creators outside of the traditional social campaigns? Should people be thinking about developing IP with creators and influencers?
Definitely, and understand the pain points and the desires and the interests of why the audience is following that creator in the first place, and that's why you should be working with them. People worked with me, or people followed me because they wanted the food you want to eat designed by a nutritionist. I was helping people in that sense. Epitome came out of the fact that so many people are struggling with their gut health and they need simple, clear, one a day, every day, no refrigeration, gut health support. These are pain points that I was able to solve and utilize, and the brands who work with me also then get to tap in to those same pain points of my audience and allow me to help solve those problems.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you're so authentic, because at the heart of everything you do, you're a fantastic nutritionist. And so we look at your brand and your world, and everything ladders up to your core authentic expertise, which is you're a great nutritionist. I'm going to come to Misha. Misha, in the report, you say, I'll quote you, "In a world where everyone is chasing the same formulas, trust becomes your biggest differentiator. That's why finding your nerve isn't about being louder, it's about being more authentic, yet creative in the content." So at Itsu, obviously we've done a lot of work with you guys. How do you balance doing something creatively brave without losing the trust of your audience?
It's often a friction point, and we have had it a lot, where sometimes it does feel like engagement, retention, the kind of content you're making is sometimes at friction with the message you want to get across as a brand. And as a brand, when you're putting the marketing budget into doing something like this, you do have to know that the content has to eventually tell the brand truth about the product that you want to get across. But at the same time, you are not on an Itsu channel, you are on a creator's channel. They understand their audience, they understand what is going to be engaging to watch. So you have to find a balance between those two things, basically. And that is often our work as a team, is taking what the creator knows about their audience, knows how to make great content, but then weaving in the brand message in an organic way that feels like it has integrity and is honest.
We were just talking about this upstairs, and you were talking about your noodle business, and
the noodles.
The noodles. And we were saying how, on one hand, the type of content with creators that gets lots of attention isn't necessarily the content that is doing the job for you about raising the awareness of why someone should buy the noodles. Like, how do you balance that trade-off?
The noodles are an amazing example, because the problem with our noodles is we're trying to get people who have never bought a pot noodle or haven't bought a pot noodle since they were like at uni to buy a pot noodle, have it at home as a work-from-home lunch, quick dinner. But there's this massive educational problem, which is people don't want to do that they don't want to eat out of a pot. How do we educate people that these are not like other pot noodles? But at the same time, if you get a creator to make a video with eating noodles from a pot, it's dark, you can't see the food, the hook isn't there. Like, everything about it makes it difficult to make engaging content. So then the temptation is just let them take it out of a pot, put it in a bowl, make it beautiful. But like, yes, it would help retention. Does it solve our problem? Is it worth the marketing budget? Are we actually changing minds about pot noodles? Like, it's the perfect example of that friction between the two things for me.
And I think from working on that project with you, I think what's really important is to have that diverse casting strategy. So I think we've obviously got our BAU influencers who are talking about convenience, just putting a jammy egg on top of the pot, very accessible. But then on the other side of the spectrum, we've also got a long-term partnership with Ben Slater, if everyone knows who Ben Slater is, iconic, look him up. But he goes crazy. He spends 7 days curing an egg and then grating it like parmesan on top of the pot, which is obviously no one's going to do that. But because he has that chef credibility, he puts the foodie stamp of approval on the noodle pot to really, again, showcase that it's a high quality product. It's not, you know, your classic sort of plastic wrapped ramen. So you need to kind of tell both sides of the story when it comes to the casting strategy when we are doing the noodle pot content.
100%. Bits like that, they're really easy decisions. Everyone follows Ben because he makes these really long, drawn-out, involved recipes. For us to go, yeah, and we want, like, this is all about speed, so make sure it's quick and easy. It'd be like, why would you do that? So, like, that's easy for us, but, like, please put it in a pot, but make it as long and unrealistic as possible. So you kind of have that push and pull. And the other part of that, what I was saying around the integrity piece, is just around, which I think is like around your thing about the kool-aid. The most important thing about influencers now is trust and making sure there is real integrity to the partnerships. And I think years ago, Emily, we worked together like 5 years ago, I think, with Itsu. And that was, like, our meeting was together on a call. You built the recipes with us. We planned 2 events. Like, you were integrally involved. Now, as like the whole industry has grown and professionalized, it's now a major part of any marketing pillar, especially in food. Like, there are agencies, agents. Like, there's a bigger gap between the creator and the brand, and it makes it much harder to make sure that the creator genuinely is passionate about the product, and it's difficult for the brand to communicate the points. And I think the more we can work with agencies like Charlie Oscar that help us do that, to really make sure that the content is, like, there's integrity, and the audience can tell. Like, the audience really can tell if someone is just making content for the sake of it or because they're being paid.
I mean, you make the point well, Misha. Emily, you made the point. As soon as creator marketing becomes transactional, as soon as it becomes, you know, a trade, it circles the drain.
Exactly.
Olivia, I want to bring you in. So I'm going to quote you on your report quote. The brands that build lasting influence aren't the ones chasing every trend. They're the ones confident enough to build something that's unmistakably their own. I'd like to, I mean, you're working for one of the coolest brands that's, you know, popped up in the last couple of years, Drip Water. How have Drip and how have you created your own lane when it comes to social and creators?
Well, I think we're in an era where it's really easy to have a trending moment, you know, to work with the creators that are popping at the time or to recreate something that's going viral. But the thing is, with all of those ways of working, it creates visibility. So, you know, you'll get a lot of views and you'll be shown on the feeds, but it's not creating memory for the brand. You often remember the trends before you remember everybody who took part in that trend or which brands jumped on that trend. So I think we recognized that, and our approach was to really be culturally relevant, and that's not the same as being trend-led. So being trend-led, you know, trends last a week, but cultural relevancy is something you built with communities over an extended amount of time, and that means understanding the communities that suit your brand, investing in them, and then the marketing then becomes a reflection of those relationships you've built with the community as opposed to just dropping into a moment. And I think for us, that's what's guided us, and especially in the festival sort of season last year, we popped up at multiple festivals, and our approach there was, so we were at Wireless Festival and we took over the VIP Village. Our focus point was to actually program the DJs there, because, you know, normally as a brand you go in and you put your signage up and you want to like maybe invite creators and you want to get content, but we recognized that this was a community that we had invested in for the last 2 years. So let's actually program the DJs, bringing in people from our community. And in a way, they were the influencers for us. They all had their own audience. They suited each individual day. And the result of that was that, I mean, when we just posted the DJ lineup on Instagram, this wasn't like a trend kind of led post, but it was our most highly reached organic post of the summer, because everybody was like, wow, this is a stellar lineup. The official YouTube page even commented like, wow, like star-studded lineup here. And for us, those moments are cultural relevance as opposed to jumping on a trend which people forget about the next week when the new trend comes in. So I think it's really about understanding that there's a distinction between trends and actually being part of genuine conversation long term.
I think launching a water brand and then ignoring the functionality and going straight to culture is incredibly brave. And bravery is a theme of the report, you know, having the presumption to be able to go and do what the category won't do. What gave you as a brand the conviction or some sort of positive feedback? You're like, we're onto a winner here, going down the culture route rather than the more typical product or functional led.
Well, I think we recognize, like, it is just water, right? Like, there's nothing more to it. It hydrates you. We weren't fussed on a product side of things with, you know, adding in anything. We wanted to keep it as natural as possible. So no preservatives, no flavorings, no, like, kind of gimmicky electrolytes. Because if you're drinking water enough, you don't even need those added supplements. So for us, it was like, the product is good. It's good quality water. The branding is nice. It's a gold can. You don't miss it. So we need to build on, like, emotional connection and actually invest into community and creativity to stand out. Otherwise, it was just going to be a product that, you know, kind of fades quickly over time, like when the hype goes. And another thing that we also recognized was, in the world of water, like, we are everywhere. So whether you're a DJ doing a set, or you're a festival goer standing for 10 hours in the sun, or you're an athlete who's just finished a race or training, you're drinking water all of those moments. So our goal is just to create memory from that and actually highlight that moment. So yeah, that means tapping into working with people and really investing in the communities.
Community is the interesting point here. And I know, Emily, you call your community Ride at Dawn, is that right?
Yeah, the Ride at Dawn crew.
Tell us about your Ride at Dawn crew then.
So when I say Ride at Dawn crew, I guess I mean the people who always consume your content. So these are the people that you'll always come to the top of their algorithm. You'll always be the first person to see the stories. They watch everything, so they consume across multiple platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. They care what you have to say. And I think each creator does curate this Ride at Dawn community, the people who are genuinely really interested in you. And they are some of the most important people to take care of and look after. And I think what can sometimes happen is that Ride of Dawn community can get easily offended if you start to change what you're doing or change your strategy. But they are that core pillar.
So how do you engage with the Ride at Dawn community different to your broader community? And how do you make them feel special and look after them like you say?
So I always try and remember that social media and content creation is not a vanity project. It's not just something that you're doing for yourself. You are responsible to share, entertain, educate, like look after, inspire the people who follow you. And that is what is so amazing about social media. So I think it's important to remember that you have a responsibility of being a creator to ensure that your level of creation has integrity. It's interesting, it's fun, it's something that people genuinely want to see. And I think sometimes we can get into this algorithm blaming mindset, and we don't often look inwards enough and think, okay, if I scroll past this piece of content, would I stop and watch? If I watch this ad, would I be like, would it make me laugh? Like, some of my favorite ads are the ones that make me laugh, make me smile, inspire me. And there are brilliant ways to be able to still engage audiences through social media. Like, it doesn't have to be kind of super serious, but it still has to be good content. Are you filming right? Is your lighting good? Have you cleaned your camera? Is it high quality? And all of these things, I think, matter for keeping that core community and also keeping new communities engaged.
I'm on my own influencer journey. Started about 3 months ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Slow start, but give us a follow if you're in the room. So my team are telling me that we have to build my personal brand. I was like, okay, fair enough. And I won't give you the full story, but the short story is I've had 2 posts go viral. Quite pleased with that. One was, on Instagram, and it really did go viral. I had nothing to do with it. Basically, my team were taking the piss out of me, and it was one of these like rage bait posts. And that was nice, good feedback, good experience. The other one, I upset a lot of people on LinkedIn. And I won't go into the details. I'm not going down that rabbit hole again. But it was a really interesting experience for me to see the internet be a really positive thing and a really negative thing. How do you must have experienced that as a creator. Like, how do you deal with that?
I mean, trolling and social abuse is hard for anyone to deal with at the start. And I remember when it first started happening to me, it really hurt. Like, it felt like that drop in your stomach feeling when you've got the school bully who is like talking about you on the playground. It just like does not feel nice. But now there are measurements in place that I used to just get trolled over the same words. So social media now enables me to block those words, so they can't say them, they can't comment, they can't DM, they can't do those things. And then I kind of realized, I'm like, I make food. I'm like, if you're that offended by my recipes, you do not have to make them. So I think it's like you do get thicker skin. I do think that it still exists. But at the end of the day, we have to focus on the positives. Social media is still a wonderful, beautiful, connective space. And where else can you go on any platform and learn how to make a beef Wellington and also watch a crazy cat video? I mean, isn't that not just the best?
That is the best. So whilst we're on the creators world, what advice would you give to, if there are any creators in this room, a creator that's looking to develop brand partnerships? Like, what advice would you give them?
So if you have a list of your dream brands that you want to work with, so say for example, mine was Marks and Spencer's. So I now work with Marks and Spencer's.
Tick.
They're my favorite. Yeah, tick. Why would they work with you? So if you are Marks and Spencer's, put yourself in Marks and Spencer's shoes. What is it about you as a creator that's appealing? What's your uniqueness? What's your calling card? What can you offer them on a unique POV? So have that list of your dream brands and make sure that you are doing the things, creating the content that you think that they would love or you think would work for them, and then you automatically make yourself more desirable. It's like putting an extension on your house. Like when the person comes in to buy the house, they're like, oh, I really love this extension because the extension's already there.
Great advice. Sasha, I'm going to bring you in here because obviously you represent a lot of brands and interface with thousands of creators. What are the typical things that you look for when scoping creators?
I think the biggest thing that I've noticed is that I think a lot of creators and brands are stuck in a brief and post cycle. So they're just constantly just churning out, here's another campaign, a creator is just saying, yes, I'll do it. They want to obviously sometimes even be scripted to, the exact things that they want to say. And I think we've just gotten to that cycle just because of the speed at which we're trying to churn out content. So when we are actually approaching creators, obviously, yes, it's important to have a brief from the brand and the client to make sure we're hitting the right key messages, but I'm really looking for talent who actually want to add their own creative spin on something. So, for example, again, when we've been working with Itsu, Ben Slater's a great example. He literally sends us an entire sort of just like script and world that goes far beyond the brief, just with his own creativity and in his own time. And that extra level of effort just stands out completely because I'm like, no, I want to work with you. Let's collaborate. It doesn't just feel like a transactional relationship where they're just going, yep, tick, I'll say what you want me to say and I'll post a video. I'm looking for creators who actually want to collaborate with us and create concepts together. And even if they actually disagree with the original concept, I love that as well. If they actually call us out and go, actually, I don't think that's going to work, that's not a good idea, I'm like, yes, tell me more. So I think it's just about that collaboration with creators and actually making it a true sort of creative project together. Because I think that's where you're actually going to get the content that actually hits the algorithm, hits their community, and actually wins. Because also in the brief and post cycle, I feel like a lot of brands also, once they get to the end result, all of the content just looks the same and all the creators are saying the exact same thing, which is kind of embarrassing. So you don't want that. So I think by having that sort of open conversation with creators, also I'm a big fan of jumping on a call as well. Like, I hate email, let's jump on a call, let's chat. and you're going to get a far better result that way.
We're running out of time, so I want to sort of end on the brand discussion, given this is the brand stage. And Misha, I'm going to come to you. So creator marketing, influencer marketing, I never know really quite what to call it, but it's existed for 10 years plus, whereas let's say TV or out of home has existed for 50 years plus. So everybody in an organization understands what TV is and they understand what out of home is, but very few actually understand influencer marketing and creator marketing. And I would imagine working in an organization where you've got multiple, everyone seems to be an expert in marketing in the boardroom, the CFO seems to know about it, the CEO knows about it, you know, so how do you handle that intercompany debate around the strategy of influencer marketing? How do you get people to find their nerve internally?
I guess at the very beginning, it takes some convincing. Like, you have to be in the industry to like get it. So a few of us got it years ago. Like, this could be really powerful. You're engaging people's communities. You're actually building off the trust they have already built. We knew it, but the best part of getting our company to follow was the results. Like, they saw the results of our campaign with soup dumplings that went viral, and we went from a rate of sale, I think, of 6 per store per week to 80, and sold out, and we were like flying them in from, I mean, it was unbelievable. So that suddenly they all started listening, and creators went from a tiny fraction of our budget to like a massive part of it. There's a whole team now that work on it, and our agency. So you start with, you convince them of the benefit of engaging with people's communities, and then you just show the results. And the results speak for themselves with creator marketing.
Do you ever get resistance internally in terms of like the type of creator or the type of content?
Sometimes, I mean, there is always the pressure to be like, oh, like, you know, talk about the product more, talk about these X things, like make sure they say these 5 things. And you're like, no, like, if we do that, it won't work. You might as well just do something else. But then there's also the problem, like, you do have to balance it with, I mean, when we look at like modeling, the creator ROI is the highest. Like, it's amazing how big the ROI is off creator marketing. But if you only do creator marketing, you do dilute your brand, because like the whole point of it is you let the creator make the content they want. If you just do that, you lose the sort of core, like whether it's Itsu, it's white, it's minimal, it's Japanese, it's the style of copy, it's that you have to keep that up. And then it's about balancing the sort of sales driving, which creator stuff really is, with the kind of long-term brand building, so people recognize you at shelf. And there is, so sometimes actually it's the other way. Now I will get, I'm managing directors like, why are you putting money into TV? Like the ROI you get from creators is twice as much. I'm like, because like it's gone the other way.
We've done our job.
Yeah, you've done your job.
Right, there's 2 minutes left, and we've got some questions, and they've miraculously come up on the screen. Let's have a look.
Wow.
Right, I'll read this out then. This is from Anonymous. What are the most common mistakes brands do on creator briefs that they should fix right now?
I'll go, because I feel like our creator briefs are quite good because they're collaborative. I think brands can often jump to control exactly how they want the creative to go, and that's where they ultimately fail, or it looks, as you were saying, everything ends up looking the same. I think when you work with creators, you're working with them because of their creativity. So from the brief, it should be collaborative right up till the asset is produced. So often what we do is we'll give them an indication of what we're looking for, but from that moment, we ask them, what are you kind of working on right now? Or how do you see yourself in this space or working with us in this way? And I think having that collaborative approach from the start will give you a much better result.
Great. We've probably got time for one more question. So I'm going to go with, what is your view on brand trips? They come at a high expense. Do they actually work? Who'd like to take that?
We've never done one, so.
I've got an opinion.
Go on.
Does everyone know who Jake Shade is? Great, my people. So he obviously just went on the big Aloe yacht. But I think what was released last night is he actually just released his official ad with Aloe of his workout series videos that was filmed on the yacht. So I think what Aloe did really, really well was they actually told this massive story with Jake Shane over time. it kind of just seemed like a brand trip, but it went on for months. So he's gone through a huge body transformation. He went to the Aloe gym in LA for years. Then he went on the yacht. It just seemed like a classic sort of brand trip. But now it's sort of eventuated into this incredible sort of partnership of him doing workout ads. So it didn't just feel like a once sort of flash in the pan brand trip. I think it's what can you do after the brand trip and use that as a foundation to launch something bigger, is how I see brand trips moving forward in the future.
Brilliant. Thank you, Sasha. Well, look, sadly, that's all we've got time for. Bit of housekeeping. So we've spoken a bit about this report. If you want to read the report, there should be a QR code on your seat. And if you scan it now before you head off, then you can win a pair of Nothing headphones and a free strategy session with someone at Charlie Oscar. So pick which one you prefer. Thank you so much to all of you wonderful panelists. That was great.